Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Thursday, April 30th, 2020, the last trading day of the month of April. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss, and real quick note, I want to invite you to join me for the monthly market outlook on Monday, May the 4th at 4 p.m. Central. So if you can join me, that would be fantastic. It is free and open to all to join, and we will be discussing long-term patterns of the market here for the futures and also for a lot of stocks that we talked about in the last market report, including new additions to that list. And we're going to be talking the major how the market is setting up here for a potentially major move to come. So please join me here Monday, May the 4th at 4 p.m. Central, and it is going to be the pivotboss.ecofin.co link. It is free to join if you don't have a username already, and we will be hosting that in the PivotBoss community room. All right, let's take a look here at the ES. What you'll see for the ES right now is a very clear uptrending market. This market has been clearly trending higher, very clear channeling behavior here. In the previous session here, the ES rallied tremendously and closed on highs, but in after hours trading here we've seen quite a bit of selling pressure at the previous session's high price and close price, which are very close to each other. So on an intraday basis here, that would suggest a likely pullback toward the midpoint of the previous session. That's 29.10 quarter, and so we could see a bit of a pullback toward that range. Now, if we break below that level, that opens up the lower half of the day, and we could roll back the entire move of the previous session. So that's the key level to watch right there. Again, that's 29.10 quarter. But typically speaking, this market has only pulled back one day, maybe 2 days during this bounce. That's it. 1 day pullbacks, 2 day pullbacks. So this pullback after this tremendous breakout that we've seen from the narrow range here, remember this narrow 2-week range right there, this is the breakout in the previous session. So today may be the pullback entry day ahead of the next continuation higher. That higher move could have a 5-day shelf life there, or perhaps there could be a 10-day, right? The range was a 10-day range, so that would tell you there's a 1 to 2 week breakout potential here. And so again, if we can continue to see this market hold, say 2900, 2910, that would suggest that we could continue higher toward 3100 and the top end of the recent range back here. So again, this market's been very bullish here. We'll see if it can continue to hold 2900. All right, let's take a look at the NQ. You'll see the NQ has a very similar pattern here. We've also seen that breakout to the upside. Again, that breakout was significant in the previous session here. We're having the pullback after the breakout. Again, if this market can continue to hold that midpoint from the previous session and the round number of 9,000, there's a good shot to continue higher still. So this market has a midpoint of 89.26, and so if we pull back as deep as that, it could still be a bullish entry for continuation higher. So after you see a bullish breakout like that, and you see it break out not only from a previous outside day down and to turn around and rally, this next fade here could be a bounce opportunity that takes you higher. And again, this market could continue to go up until proven otherwise. And overall, whenever you see a major breakout like this from a narrow range and this signal here, as long as you hold above that breakout point, there's more upside ahead. A failure to hold that breakout point would suggest a return to the opposite end of the range. All right, let's take a look now at crude oil. This continues to be the June contract here. I'm actually plotting and trading the July contract, but in terms of the June contract right now, which has more volume still, we actually seen a very decent bounce off the $10 level. That $10 level is very important. We started the week talking about 10 bucks, saying that if it breaks below there, again, there's clear air to the downside. But any bounce can still take it right as high as the 18-19 zone that we talked about before. And until that is overcome, of course, we could continue to bounce down off that area and perhaps leg down towards zero by the end of this contract. So again, right now this thing is just staircasing lower, and the market structure is very clearly going down. So we've had, market structure here, then lower here, it breaks down here, then breaks down from here, and now we're right here. So again, it would have to break back above 20 in order to get it going a little bit higher. I think a rejection at that zone, like the last time, will lead to a retest of 10s, perhaps even lower. Okay, let's take a look lastly at gold futures. Here, gold futures is showing a bit of a failed breakout attempt here. We've had a very solid pullback yet again, but a lower high though. So we had a pretty solid high here, a failed high, and we talked about the potential to pull back towards 1700. I mentioned a bounce or rejection at 1700 could give us a bounce back toward these highs with a shot to go to 1800 plus. But this lower high has led to another pullback here, and while the market's held the 1704 level here, today's failure here is going to be something to watch, because if there's a failure to hold 1704s, that opens up the potential to drop as deep as 1575, 1576. So it's this key range high we're talking about right there. Comes across right there. It's held it the last couple of days. Failure to hold that zone opens up a pullback. 1640 and 1576 could be the next targets if that level's not held. Overall, this market continues to trend up, continues to honor and respect that PIMA trigger zone, which is bullish right now. So that would still suggest strength overall, but a failure to hold that level would at least open up a near-term pullback. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.